Used to be a day where when you were writing software, you would have it stored locally on one computer. Nowadays, you can upload your code to the web, and some people, you might have heard, have uploaded their code to be shared with other people. And there are also some instances where you have more than one person working on the same code, the same document, if you will. So there needed to be some kind of system that made it easier for, let's say, two programmers to work on the same code base at the same time and not clobber each other. So this type of system, has evolved over time. This ability to collaborate on programming, and before too long, many people were using this thing called Subversion to have revisions and kind of paper trails of sorts of anything that was related to code. And you could use this for your own code. You could use it for open source code. You could use it for a variety of ways. Doesn't mean that Subversion was perfect. It's just a lot of people were using it. Then along came Git. And if you've never heard of Git, you may want to check it out. It's kind of neat, especially if you're a developer. I guarantee you've heard of Git. But I just want to bring everybody up to speed if you had not heard of it. GitHub is pretty much the world's leading open source repository. So if you have an open source project, GitHub is pretty much the place where you want to host it. And I mean, it's similar to what you may have done in terms of version control for your programming. There's something that we wanted to do as we have released, or I guess kind of inspired various open source projects over the years. One of the things that we wanted to do is write a very quick, simple guide to get you started with GitHub. Move over to GitHub. If you have some open source projects you've been thinking about contributing to, or if you want to work on open source projects, this would be the place to be. And like I said, I throw ideas out there all the time, and people have developed based on my ideas. And I wish something did this. And they create software, and then they put it on a place like GitHub where anybody can download it, modify it, fork it, do whatever they wanted to do with it. And it's really, as far as version control systems go, it's easy. And I'm not going to say that everybody's using it. Certainly there are benefits and drawbacks to it. But Eddie Ringel is one of those who adopts these things really quickly, and probably one of the more skilled developers that I've ever had the opportunity to work with. If I come up with a shortcoming, he thinks about it for a minute and says, here's the solution. And instead of just keeping it to himself, he puts it on GitHub. That's nice, because then other people can take advantage of that. He just wrote a plugin for WordPress the other day. I think it's the multi-author payment processing or something like that, MAP, M-A-P-P for short, and he has it on GitHub. So if you have WordPress and you deal with multiple authors on that blog, you may consider using this new plugin that won't cost you anything, and it will make your life better, because instead of keeping it to himself, he's open sourced it. And if you wanted a good place to start, GitHub would be it. If you're looking for kind of a quick starting point for GitHub and why you might want to use GitHub over any other version control system, we've outlined it for you on this particular article on lockergnome.com.